Research has shown that the African continent is more prone to coup d'etat and political instability than any other continent, a situation that has made foreign investors wary of investing in the continent. Since 2020, for example, there have been about 9 coups in West Africa, Central Africa, and the Sahel region. The question now is, why is the political status of African countries unstable? Lots of people have given significant reasons for the political instability in Africa, but none more so than Uganda's President Museveni, who declared that the continued exploitation of African resources by Western countries and their companies is the reason for political instability in Africa. President Museveni emphasized this while speaking at the Uganda-South Africa Trade and Investment Summit held in Kampala. The summit was organized by state agencies from South Africa and Uganda, and sponsored by South African companies in Uganda, including MTN, Nile Breweries, Stanbic, and Absa Banks. In his speech, the president highlighted the link between resource exploitation and coups and wars in West and Central African states, and gave a formula for political instability in Africa, which goes as follows. The continued exploitation of African resources with no visible returns equals political instability. President Museveni argued that colonialists and neo-colonialists are to blame for the ongoing political turmoil in Africa, and highlighted the need for African countries to protect their resources against foreign interests. Speaking of resource exploitation, which doesn't benefit the local population, the president cited France as an example. He said that for years, France has been extracting uranium from Niger, but throughout all these years of extraction, Niger has never benefited from it. The president argued that France should have invested in Niger's local infrastructure, such as building power plants. But then, this situation is not limited to Niger, the president added. He emphasized that the same pattern occurs with other commodities, such as coffee and various minerals. The colonizers and multinationals often prioritize their own interests over the welfare of African nations. They exploit the resources without any regard for the development or improvement of the local economies. Speaking further, President Museveni cited a crucial reason for the continued exploitation of resources in Africa. According to him, one crucial element that allows resource exploitation to continue unchecked is the lack of strong armies in affected countries. Museveni argued that the failure of these states to build robust military forces has allowed the colonizers and multinationals to operate freely. Without a strong defense system, African nations become vulnerable to external interference, manipulation, and the looting of their resources. In addition, President Museveni reiterated his opposition to the export of Uganda's raw materials and boldly declared that, under his leadership, Uganda will never allow the exportation of uranium in its raw form. This strategy intends to ensure that Africa benefits from the value-added processing of its resources, thereby creating jobs and fostering economic progress on the continent. Apart from foreign governments, Museveni has challenged multinational corporations operating in Uganda. He stated that many of them put money over the well-being of the local populace. These firms have made significant profits from their presence in Uganda, but have failed to reinvest in the country's and its people's development. President Museveni's words are echoed by Femi Falana, a former president of the West Africa Bar Association, who spoke on the disturbing trend of coups within the economic community of West African states. According to Falana, the reckless exploitation of natural resources is one of the principal driving forces behind the unsettling political unrest and the rise of unconstitutional changes in government. Using the historical and current socio-political backdrop, Falana emphasized that external influence and involvement, particularly from former colonial governments, along with the unrestrained extraction of the region's huge natural resources, have perpetuated economic inequities. Such differences, in turn, have fueled populist frustrations and grievances, fostering a fertile ground for coups and power conflicts. The Ugandan president ended his speech by addressing those companies present during the summit. He first expressed his appreciation for the positive impact these corporations have had on ordinary Ugandans, and stated that he has forgiven them for past grievances. However, President Museveni urged companies in the services sector, particularly those in attendance at the summit, to assist the government's efforts to integrate everyone into the money economy. He emphasized that this method would not only benefit the people and the government, but would also boost corporate profits by increasing consumer spending power. The summit, which is crucial to linking Uganda's business potential with South Africa, ended with a series of resolutions and recommendations referred to as the Kampala Declaration. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.